Every 4 years, the conversation follows a predictable pattern. Fans and analysts look at the empty bracket and immediately assume the traditional heavyweights will have a clear path to the final. We look at the French squad and assume that a deep roster of world-class talent is enough to overcome the impossible expectations. We watch the English national team navigate decades of tournament heartbreak and assume the current generation can simply ignore that suffocating pressure. Or we expect aging legends from squads like Portugal to produce one final fairy tale ending before they step away. But focusing solely on these household names ignores the specific mechanics of how massive upsets occur. When the pressure peaks, even the strongest favorites begin to show structural cracks. In 2026, those cracks are likely to appear earlier than usual. The tournament is expanding from 32 teams to a massive 48-team field. This expansion introduces a physical toll that hasn't been seen before. Teams will be forced into a relentless travel schedule spanning the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The logistical distances and the varying climates between these host cities will rapidly compound player fatigue. When heavily relied upon superstars reach the end of a long club season and then step into this travel schedule, the risk of physical breakdown increases. We've seen what happens when top-tier teams lose their stability. Under extreme stress, even the most talented groups can lose their tactical identity and collapse. In a tournament defined by this much physical and mental volatility, the sheer volume of uncertainty is enough to derail several heavily favored giants. To find a team that can survive this environment, we have to look past flashy highlights and focus on the traits that keep a squad alive when the conditions are at their worst. Croatia reached the final in 2018 by building their run on grit and defensive organization, rather than individual dominance. Morocco's 2022 run provided further evidence that intense squad unity and collective momentum can neutralize an opponent's individual superstar talent. These runs reveal a specific profile for tournament survival: team discipline, defensive shape, mental grit, squad unity, and momentum. If we want to identify the next surprise finalist, we have to look for the group that naturally aligns with these 5 parameters right now. Looking across the current European landscape, the Netherlands presents a profile that matches these requirements with surprising precision. One major factor is that the Dutch aren't currently facing the same level of global media scrutiny as teams like Argentina or France. They aren't carrying the burden of being the overwhelming favorite if you win it all. Their current defensive structure is designed to prevent the kind of catastrophic mistakes that often end a giant's run during the knockout stages. While traditional favorites will be navigating a constant media storm, the Dutch camp is likely to remain relatively quiet, allowing them to focus on the game itself. This graph illustrates a common trend in tournament play. As pressure on a heavy favorite rises, their performance often dips, while a team with mental freedom maintains their level. In tight knockout games, that margin is the difference between going home and moving forward. A disciplined, defensively sound team that enters the tournament without the heaviest psychological baggage represents the most dangerous profile in a high-volatility bracket. It's also important to understand how bracket attrition works. An underdog doesn't need to be the best team in the world for 30 days. They just need to be the ones outlasting the chaos around them. Paths to the final often open up because of events no one predicts: a sudden injury crisis for a rival, a momentum-shifting penalty shootout, or a favorite losing to another underdog on the opposite side of the draw. The Netherlands only needs to maintain their defensive stability long enough for the favorites to eliminate themselves or struggle under the weight of the moment. Surprise finalists aren't usually born from pure dominance. They are born from a calculated ability to stay alive while others fall apart. These warning signs are easy to miss because most sports coverage is designed to focus on famous superstar narratives and daily headlines. But the core truth of tournament play remains the same. Games are won on structural fundamentals and mental discipline, not on paper. As we look toward the tournament in North America, we should consider which group is actually prepared to emerge from the shadows. The ingredients for a major shock in 2026 are already present in the tournament structure. The only question is whether we are looking past the hype to recognize the contenders before they arrive.